Hey there, everybody. I'm Fred Thomas, and you are watching Rideable TV, the YouTube channel for AD bikes, frame and wheel, and all things bike. And today I'm going to talk about this Austro-Daimler Super Leicht steel road bike. But before I do that, let me remind you that AD Bikes is the modern face of Austro-Daimler cycling and the bike company of the future. And the way we are different from all the other bike companies out there is that we have, among other things, the AD Bike Sustainability Program, which allows you to turn all of your old bike gear, bikes, wheels, components into cash that you can use to purchase a Keese or an Ultima or a cyclocross. It's a great program. Customers love it because it creates space, it saves time, and it adds a little sustainability into our cycling lives. But you knew that. I've been talking about it for a long time. Let's talk about this Austro-Daimler Super Leicht steel road bike. Now, what's special about this bike is that it is the exact same model of Austro-Daimler that I raced as a youth in the 80s and the 90s. And it's the muse for the restoration of the brand. It's what inspired me to restore the brand. You know, I raced an Austro-Daimler as a youth, and I wanted to race one again as a masters athlete. So I pulled a Mini Cooper and I obtained the abandoned trademark to the logo and reimagined the brand for the 21st century. So this is how it all got started right here. And so before we geek out on this bike, let's take a little trip down memory lane. Let's see if I can do this. Here we go. I got a bunch of pictures of me on this bike from the 80s, and here's the first one I found. This must have been 1985 or so. I'm racing in a Criterium somewhere. I think I won some New England championship title, so I'm wearing this jersey for this year. I remember it being really small. It was probably too small, so it was very aero, and I could barely fit into it. But maybe I was a more yoked person back then. I don't know, but I think it was small. It's funny. I look at the number, and I've got 420. That's like a master's number that you get nowadays. But some other cool things is, at this point, I still had it set up with Campagnolo Record. For some reason, I put Modolo brakes on there. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm sporting the Detto shoes with no socks. That must have been a style thing. And I probably had already moved over to clincher rims. I remember tubulars were a thing, but it was, it was tough. There was a lot of glue, and so clinchers were available. This bike, like all of them, only has one water bottle cage, and the one I had, I'm pretty sure it was blue, and it had a yellow cap, so it worked very well with the graphics. And I love the Peloton lettering on this guy's leg. You can tell the future by looking at the past. Here's another picture. That must have been 1986. That's me. I think at the end of a race, of course, no helmet. In the previous image, I was wearing a pretty beefy helmet, but for some reason I wasn't wearing a helmet here, or I had a brain basket underneath it. I don't think much had changed with the actual bike. I think, here you can see the Bonotto tape. Sort of using two colors of tape was a thing where you could create a sort of a tiger stripe version. I was doing that, and I thought it was pretty cool. So that's me. Time has not been kind. So here I am in France. I spent a summer in France racing. Sometimes I think I should have stayed. I had a wonderful time. I did all sorts of racing, in events that were within my ability, and some were totally beyond my ability. And I, this is 1987. I think it was in Cognac, France. There I am. I'm pretty sure I wasn't wearing a helmet there. I was racing for the local club that was, I think, had a sponsor that manufactured mirrors. And wearing Peugeot shorts. They didn't have bib shorts back then. You can't really see the bike too well. I've got pink tape. I think I've got a bigger water bottle. And the story behind that, you may have heard it already, is at the first race I turned up for in Cognac. It was a circuit race. It was on a Sunday. It was really hot. And I didn't speak. I had high school French under my belt, and I'd only been in the country for maybe 2 weeks. and they line everybody up and they start announcing details. And the announcer said, well, the race is 90 kilometers, which means 90 kilometers. But my French was still a little rough when it came to numbers, and maybe I didn't hear properly. The only thing I caught was the 20, and I was thinking, oh, well, yeah, okay, when you're doing numbers in French, you sort of add stuff. So 20 is 20, 10 is 10, okay, 30 kilometers in miles, it's about 18 miles. Oh, wow, that's pretty short. Okay. So I race started, and I went for every single preem that came. There was circuits of every 4 miles or 3 miles. I don't know. So I'm going bonkers, getting all these preems. The spectators love it, and they're having so much fun. Oh, this guy, he's American. Western is his middle name. Wow, Western, go. And after about 18 miles, the race keeps going, and it starts getting hot, and the road is melting, and I have no water left. So I come to the start finish, and I throw my water ball down, and this family, I think it must have been one of these kids, picked up the water bottle, filled it up for me, and handed it off to me when I came through again. And they did that each time for the rest of the race. And as a result, they followed me around to all the races that I went to, and they're very sweet. And I just wish I could have stayed in touch with them, because this is of course way before email and internet and all that. But it was a great memory of that first race, and I made the break, and I think I got third, and I have a big trophy that sits somewhere. Anyway, digression. The bike that you've seen before, this is what I have left over. This is it right here. It's hanging from the ceiling. It's in pretty rough shape, but that's all that's left of it. It's I think it's from the 1980s, early 1980s is its manufactured date. And we reimagined the frame for the 21st century. So we, latest technology at the time, carbon tubes, of course, rim brakes. The modern version of the Superleicht was radically different from the original one. And here is how it turned out. The yellow is not quite as high vis as it's shown here. I mean, something got lost in translation. We didn't quite get the champagne, but what we did get was very good. And it's high vis, but not over the top high vis, and it looks great outdoors. But it's very hard to get a good picture of that. But the main innovation was, instead of using Austro-Daimler on the down tube, which is too much lettering, it's Gothic. People can't read it, they can't remember it, they can't spell it, they get it mixed up with the Houston Astros. It's marketing hell. We just decided to leverage the logo, which now the technology exists that to allow you to wrap the whole logo around the down tube, and that created a great visual. We still have the Austro-Daimler lettering on here, but that's dropped off on. We don't use it on later models because, as I say, it's just the eye-catching aspect is the logo, and that's where we're focusing. So let's see. So the bike, I did find one picture of the bike, the Superleicht. There it is, and it's there's still. I mean, we don't have any more of them. They're all sold. But it was a great bike to race. I raced mine tens of thousands of miles all over the place, and you could make it a very light bike. It's I built mine up regularly, 15 pounds, using VI2 and Zip 202 wheels. It was definitely super light, and it was there's still some of them out there. It was very comfortable, and it was very versatile, and it was the first sort of commercial version of the restored Superleicht. So that's a bit of a digression, and now I'm just going to keep monologuing about this Austro-Daimler steel road bike. This one has been in storage. I bought it from a guy a while ago, just to for sentimental reasons, and also to get a closer look at the color. This one here, let's see, it's a 54 centimeter frame, which is the same size that I had. It has a very long top tube, and it was probably too big for me. But anyway, this one's a 54. It weighs 21 pounds or 9.9 kgs. I mean, that's Yeah, I guess that's very light for the early 1980s, but it's not too much heavier than a lot of the disc brake bikes that we have now. But anyway, it's steel. So Reynolds tubes all the way through. Some of the distinguishing features, it's got the AD engraving on the seat caps. It's got cutout lugs. You can't quite see it. So there's a cutout at the top that painted, and the pinstriping around all the lugs. That put it in the sort of the premium category of the market back then. And it's got a tin head tube. Some of the other models just have a decal. This is a tin head tube. It's a badge. It stays on there. It doesn't fade. Doesn't get scratched or anything. And so I mean that's the frame, and this one here is built with its original specifications, which was Campagnolo Record, all the way through. Pedals, rear derailleur, I think seat posts. I'm not sure about the seat posts. The handlebars are Cinelli Criterium, so they have that sort of that bend in it that's very compelling. This one has a Selle Italia seat, which was very nice, and it's running as a mix of Mavic and Ambrosio tubulars. The tires on there are Continental 22 millimeters. It probably got the original air in it too. So some of the numbers off of this one, it's a 54 centimeter. The head tube is 12.5 centimeters. The effective top tube is 54 centimeters. Let's see, the standover is about 80 centimeters. So it's suitable. I mean, if you're going to ride this, I mean, if you're an Eroica person and you're going to ride this somewhere, it would be good to be about 5'10", or I don't know. It has a very long top tube. That's all I seem to remember. But anyway, so that's why I talk about these bikes when they come in, because they represent, my connection to the brand, and it's always fun to see how the old bikes were built and marketed, and how they compare to the way we've got bikes built and marketed today. So that's all I got. If you got any questions about this, you can always contact me on the website, on Instagram, or on the phone, 207-415-3746. Thanks so much for watching this very long live stream. I'll talk to you again soon.